I mentioned before that I'm doing a nutrition experiment. I'm going to start with carb backloading. It's already my 4th day now of carb backloading, and I used to do it like 1 or 2 years ago, like 1.5 years ago. It's a great nutrition protocol for bulking and sometimes for cutting as well, but it has some problems with adherence because you don't have that much variety in your diet. But carb backloading is pretty easy, and I'm going to start with the first part of the day. Carb backloading is always divided in 2 parts. First part of the day is either pre-workout or pre-carbs. You see? And in this case, today I'm not training, I'm not working out, but I'm not doing strength accumulation, which is a protocol where you don't eat carbs all day. So my first part of the day is low carb, practically no carb. And in this case, it's always the same. Carbohydrates or carbs at 0 to 30 grams. So you don't have much choice then. You cannot eat fruits or potatoes or anything starchy. You can basically only eat leafy vegetables or maybe some carrots, a little bit of carrots or something like that. A lot of fat. Fat is always high. it's not easy to explain, but you just need a lot of fats. So your body has some energy and for hormone production, testosterone, and for, practically for energy. And Kiefer said that if you eat a lot of fat, your insulin doesn't shoot up that much, which is bullshit in the end. Insulin goes up through protein anyway, so the fat doesn't help here. And there are even some studies that even fat raised insulin, so not pure fat, but like MCT oil and stuff. So a lot of fat. He says that you need to eat a lot of saturated fat sources, like butter, eggs, bacon, beef, anything like that. Coconut oil, MCT oil, everything saturated fats. But today we know that you should still have some unsaturated fats or polyunsaturated fats in your diet, like avocados, fish, olive oil, just a little bit. Not the main source, because it's higher in omega-6 fatty acids and lower in omega-3 fatty acids. So you want this balance. Yeah? Okay. Fish is high in omega-3, of course, yeah. And protein, you need some. That's practically it. You can eat a lot of protein, you can eat a little bit of protein, but it should not be super high. For example, not like 200 grams of protein and 20 grams of fat. The ratio should be at 0.5 grams of fat per gram of protein. So if I eat 100 grams of protein, my fat should be at least at 50 grams. That's the minimum. Okay, this is the first part of the day, and you should always add some vegetables. For fiber. It's not a kill or a break of the diet if you don't add vegetables. It's just recommended to eat some vegetables with the meal. You see? It's at some points Kiefer even said you don't need any vegetables at all, but it just belongs there, you know, because in the evening you cannot eat many vegetables either if you are carb backloading. Yeah. That's the first part of the day, and you can do this for breakfast. You can skip breakfast, it doesn't matter. That's just the guideline you have to do. For example, I'm fasting till lunch. Then I eat a lot of protein, a lot of fats, and a lot of vegetables, or some vegetables. And then I'm pretty much full for the rest of the day. If I would go to the gym, then the second part of the day starts. I have my intra-workout shake, which is just BCAAs, and afterwards I eat my carbs. There are two different protocols. There is strength accumulation, in which you don't eat carbs when you don't train even in the evening. And then there is the protocol density bulking, where you eat carbs every evening, which I recommend, because if you are lean enough, you should eat carbs every day. Especially it's better for sleep, for melatonin, for serotonin, for many other hormones, and it just feels better. It's just retarded to be low carb all day, if you can eat carbs. So I'm gonna show you a sample meal right now. As promised, I'm gonna show you a sample meal for the first part of the day. Since I'm always eating minimalistically and efficient, I'm going with Brussels sprouts. I'm putting them, it's frozen Brussels sprouts, so all the vitamins are still there. I'm putting them in the microwave. I know a lot of people say microwave is shit, but not everybody has like 48 hours a day. So I put them in for 6 minutes, and then I cut them in pieces and put them in a pan with some oil, like coconut oil or butter. It soaks up, it tastes a lot better. I don't know why. It doesn't taste bitter anymore, it's just really good. Especially if you add some onions. Of course, on the first part of the day, coffee with filtered water, with good beans. I just love coffee. I love good coffee, and I love the ritual of making it. It just calms me down. For the other part, I'm putting in 450 grams of ribeye steak. It's a fatty beef. And why did I put it in the refrigerator? That's an easy thing. You know, there is so much water on the beef that you have to drain it first, like with a towel or something, or a tissue like this. Then you put salt on it, and the salt pulls the water out of the steak on the surface. Then you put it in the refrigerator, and it's like super, you know, moist. Moist, is that right? I'm not even sure. But you know, it gets a crust. It gets like great crust when you put it in a pan. Then I will put the pan on the highest temperature for a second. Put some butter, but not like Kerrygold butter. It's butter which you can use to fry at the highest temperature. I'm not sure if there is an English word for it. Butter in, that's like 4-5 grams. Okay. And when the steak is good, I will add an onion. You know? Good for taste, good for the stomach. Okay. That's the first part, and soon the second part. Now the steak is in the pan. Usually 2 minutes per side. Lower the temperature a bit because you don't want to hurt all the fatty acids in the meat. And Brussels sprouts are about to be done as well. So I'm doing a video, I'm cooking a delicious meal, and it takes me 5 minutes. Because I don't need to be in the room when it's in the microwave. So I just put it in the pan, lower the degrees after it has a decent crust on it, and just wait till it's done. It's juicy and good. I also cut up the onions already, which is super fast too, and just throw them in. So it soaks up the flavor. And this meal has, let me think, around 95 grams of protein and around 50 grams of fat. 50 grams of fat. That's perfect. The steak is in the pan and I reduce the temperature, so I just wait till it's juicy. soaks up the onions a little bit. And the Brussels sprouts are done too. I cut them in pieces and throw them in, add some more fat in the pan, and that's the first meal. And yeah, a sample meal for carb backloading's first part of the day.